See you there.
Who the hell is this? He saved me!
So our story continues in the Tournament of Elders, as in the middle of round 1 between Elder God Castiel and Elder God Poseidon's team, just before OMNI Vegito was about to take out a recently transformed OMNI Akuma. A mysterious new warrior would appear, tanking the Saiyan Omni King's punch as he nonchalantly, in his muscular pitch-black body, would just look to Zeus up on his balcony.
Zeus, after millennia, you have released me, unchained me and called me for this tournament. For your favor, and only this, I have arrived to fight for you. Now tell me where these powerful warriors are. I will dispatch of them all at once.
What? What is going on here? Who is that? Poseidon entered another fighter in the middle of the tournament? That should be a disqualification! As a naive Castiel, fully aware his own fighter had just had an intervention, would be staring in disbelief at what was going on, while a more wise Poseidon, who visibly was sweating for some reason, would only think to himself, unbelievable. I cannot explain what I'm feeling from this creature. So this is the true caliber of Zeus's fighters, his creations, his power. It feels greater than mine. Surely not. But in a complete contrast, the elder god of time, Noah, would be giggling away, her eyes glowing red as if excited at the pitch-black figure's appearance, as she would say, "My oh my, not even I could have predicted how exciting this tournament would get. It seems I may have underestimated that old man Zeus. What a creation this is! I can feel his aura from here. I wonder if you can too, Vegito."
You came, Genesis.
As when we'd finally see the leader of the Elder Gods, Zeus, respond to him. With a cold look, it would seem he was unimpressed, as he would comment,
It's a surprise to see you turn up first, Genesis. But you have come to the wrong place. I gave you coordinates. Do you have any idea what you have done? You just interrupted the entire tournament, you fool! You are literally standing in the middle of a battle! Those powerful warriors you seek, you are standing in the middle of them, you imbecile! Am I? I can't do anything right. My apologies all.
As in a sudden comedic change of pace, Zeus would begin screaming in anger, while the ominous black figure, known now as Genesis, would have a more than sorry for himself look, appearing more like a little child when he would be scolded by the fatherly Zeus.
You say these are the powerful warriors you needed me for? These are weaklings, Zeus! What are you saying?
But unbelievably, In a complete show of unintended disrespect, Genesis would turn his head, first peering at Oni Akuma, and then finally at OMNI Vegito, and without fear would declare them both non-starts.
Weaklings! You bald son of a...
As after just one stare back from an annoyed Vegito, suddenly his body would begin powering up, aura fluxing up from his body upwards until...
Watch what you say around me, Baldy!
As unable to control his frustration at someone looking down at a literal Omni King, Vegito would let loose a ferocious power-up, his aura an explosive red, as white lightning would burst forth in all directions, and all of this in point-blank range of Genesis, who would stumble back surprised at what he would be witnessing.
This power! Amazing!
And verbally too, as his pitch-black body would be lit up for once in its life.
Powerful warriors indeed!
As soon the previously unimpressed Genesis would even be forced to cover himself with both arms, as Vegito's aura would push against him. Eventually even forcing him backwards, skidding by his feet like an uncontrollable car, his body not even able to stand within the vicinity of a powered-up Omni Devil Vegito. And when he would finally come to a stop, smoke and wind still blowing behind him, with a stark open green eye, Genesis would whisper,
I was wrong again, wasn't I, Zeus? I really can't do anything right. That power I felt, if this is not the God Killer, then could this be the Omni Devil you spoke of?
as once he would then bring his arms down, with only Akuma appearing as a fearful third wheel. It would appear as a face-off between Genesis and OMNI Vegito. But not for long, as a powered-up Saiyan Omni King would then say,
Word of advice, don't underestimate me. You asked for the God Killer, but you should know I already easily defeated him. Next time you let your guard down like that, I'll send you to the next dimension. Now, you heard the old man. He said you're interrupting. Get off this tournament stage and let me work before I take you off myself. What an interesting fellow indeed.
as even Zeus, impressed with Vegito's confidence, would find himself laughing, not in any fear of him losing this tournament, but just genuinely entertained. Oh, Vegito! As Castiel, seemingly a little more relaxed now, though still sweating, would let out, I should have known. Zeus can bring anyone he wants. It won't match up to what I created in Vegito. This boy can give me a run for my money on a good day. I have nothing to worry about as long as he is around. Akobel, you will win this tournament, brother, with his help. But finally, a surprisingly smiling Genesis would just respectfully respond,
You beat the God Killer? That is news to me. But you are right. I should not underestimate you. Please, accept my apologies. I'll leave you to it.
As a creature of his word, it would seem, as soon as he would say this, Genesis, without a word more, would disappear.
Good boy.
Leaving Vegito left now finally with Akuma.
What are these monsters? These are not puny humans!
But talking of Akuma, even in his OMNI form, which had achieved godhood status, he would be left trembling, stepping back in fear.
Right, sorry about that. Now, where were we exactly?
As immediately, Vegito would flux his aura even more, as Akuma would be forced to turn around to inevitably meet his maker. But the scene would then zoom out quickly and far off, zooming out yet again to reveal the entire tournament and battle being viewed on a giant screen. And even further out, a lone warrior watching, with a very recognizable set of black hair. Pathetic. As finally we would be rejoined by God Killer Goku himself, in his base form, watching in complete confidence, with his hands in his pockets, and staring at the screen without blinking. He would simply let out a fusion of myself and Vegeta. The kind where one didn't take over. So that's what it would be like. But on further reflection, Godkiller Goku's nonchalant takes would continue as he says, "That team he's fighting though, what a joke. Poseidon, an elder god, could only come up with that? This is precisely why beings like this don't even deserve their position. The only issue I see in this round for me will be that boy, Goten. I haven't seen him in so long. A lot has happened, but my love for my family hasn't changed. Someone else will have to kill him." And it would be at that exact moment, as if on cue, a certain other god killer would then walk behind, one with a gravity-defying black hair. As a folded-armed god killer Vegeta, the same god killer that wished for the power of all the gods combined, including Zeno, Zalama, and the priest, would close his eyes and smile, saying, "Don't worry your little head, clown. I remember how soft you can be. You can let a real man deal with that brat of yours, if you can't do it yourself. He looks a little like you. At the very least, I can pretend I'm killing the real Kakarot. You have a bad habit of stalking me. Not a day goes by I don't thank myself for getting rid of you where I came from. But let me make this clear again. I didn't ask for your help, Vegeta. There's others on this team of ours. Go bother someone else." But opening his eyes, the prince would just laugh and continue. "It's not that you asked, but you need me. I can't have you dropping your guard 'cause of some kid. I need you alive. After this tournament, me and you have unfinished business. In my multiverse, one thing I never got to do was fight Kakarot on equal terms again. But now I can have that with you." As in a split-screen panel, the two eternal rival Saiyans would just stare at each other, knowing this tournament now was not just both defeating the other teams, but defeating each other too. But as these two would be facing off, from behind, in this narrow corridor, a wide-bodied figure would begin stumbling in. Can you guys ever stop arguing? I told you, we're on the same team! Revealed to be God Killer Viku, a mysterious fusion whose story is still yet to be told. As chewing on a chicken leg, he would stare at the two in annoyance, before then quickly pointing to the screen in front and saying, "Look! Stop the bickering! Watch what's going on! Looks like round one is finishing!" And just as Viku had been saying, the very next thing we would be seeing would be OMNI Vegito blasting forward. And as he would come across the tournament stage, the target would be shown to be none other than only Akuma, seemingly frozen like a statue, knowing there was nothing he could do. Fool! But that wouldn't stop the Street Fighter from at least trying, swiping a powerful punch forward that would of course just miss. But OMNI Vegito would not be so clumsy. In a flash landing 2 strikes fast, it would appear as if there were 2 Vegitos, while only Akuma would react only just once. A groan of pain running out as blood would force out of his beastly mouth. And as Akuma's body would float across the stage, Vegito wouldn't just watch. Kame! As quickly placing his 2 hands together, a shining ball of energy would erupt in his palms, simply begging to escape, as Vegito would call out its legendary name and... Finally, the turtle wave would be unleashed from the Omni God's hands, and whoever it touches would be for sure ended. And of course it would reach only Akuma immediately, his face just a stunned caricature screaming away, unable to do anything but be taken away with the force of the beam. And as his body would be on the brink of being erased, every cell of his body being damaged simultaneously, a blood-curdling groan would be heard, as Akuma would just be seen within an all-encompassing beam shooting across the screen and stage. Until finally, Vegito would stop, and with an abrupt crash, Akuma would fall to the ground. And of course, his new form would be gone. Akuma back to his base form, barely conscious anymore. Give up, boy! Never, warrior! But back with the other members of Castiel's team, Jiren would also be near the climax of his battle with Kratos. But things would not be going so smoothly, with the Grey Warrior gripped hand to hand with the now armorless God of War. Their auras rising and fluxing, causing destruction and rumbling all over the stage. You're too weak, boy! But Kratos' anger would just push his power level even further above. And as a result, Jiren would begin failing, his knee forced onto the ground as Kratos was about to break him.
So, this is my limit. I've failed you, Master Gichin.
As a weakened Jiren now, barely able to even open one eye, would be on the brink of accepting defeat now.
It's over! I could have used someone like you in my tribe. Maybe in another life.
And eventually Kratos would rise up. Now with Jiren down on both knees, the battle seemingly over for these two until... right from the side, now undetected, OMNI Vegito would appear sweeping in with his elbow pulled back.
You!
But of course, in time, Kratos would undoubtedly sense the presence of the strongest fighter on the battlefield, turning his eye and gaze briefly before... with a sudden whack, OMNI Vegito would strike from his blind side, straight onto Kratos' temple. And with a slam, Kratos would fall to the ground like a bag of rocks, freeing Jiren. But zooming in on Kratos' unresponsive face on the ground though, the warrior would still be breathing, gurgling away as blood would leak out from his mouth unconsciously.
You did well, Jiren. With the time you had to train, keeping up with a warrior like that shows just how skilled you really are. I'm proud.
As grabbing the Pride Trooper by the shoulder, Vegito would extend his praise. But elsewhere, such help would not be needed, as a screaming out Asura would be seen being utterly pummeled by a barrage of fists. Too many fists to just be from a two-armed man. And even on the ground, the beatdown would continue, as if his attacker just did not know when to stop. Even leading to Asura, of all people, to mutter out as he punches,
Please, stop! I give up! Give up? Sorry, I don't understand those words.
As in a scary scene, Goten would then be seen with his multiple arms, but not looking like the carefree Saiyan we knew at all. His eyes blood red, demonic even, as above his head he would hold in one arm an energy ball large enough to destroy the entire arena, let alone incinerate Asura.
The only way this ends is if you die, buddy! Scream for me some more and eat this!
As with a pure evil look, Goten, the fifth of the five strongest, would be ready to finish and end Asura's wrath permanently.
Stop it, Goten!
But before he could swing his arm down, instantly he would be grabbed by the wrist, and by none other than OMNI Vegito, who seemingly would be doing the rounds for his team members.
Dad!
I got carried away again. And almost like his father's face were an immediate sedative, a tranquilizer to calm his ass down, Goten would appear to de-transform, his red eyes disappearing immediately, as OMNI Vegito staring down with his own Omni Devil eyes would let out,
I told you, Goten, we don't kill. We don't need to. We'll let these guys fight everyone else so we can get more intel. Research is key to winning. You know I taught you that. You need to keep control of that power inside you. I won't always be here to stop you. And as for you, the battle is over. And I apologize for my son taking it too far. Be grateful you escaped with your life today. Now rest, warrior.
As suddenly opening his eyes wide, as if casting some kind of genjutsu with his eyes alone. Something would come over Asura. An out-of-body experience that lasted years, but in the real world only lasted a second. And just like that, Asura would be rendered unconscious, no longer saying a word and not moving at all. Sorry again, Dad. I promise I won't let it happen again. This guy was just so angry. He kinda triggered something in me. As now back to the Jolly Saiyan we knew. Smiling with his hand behind his head, Goten would appear to have two personalities.
Yeah. Not the first time you've made that mistake. But anyway, we're not done here yet, kid. He's still here. As Goten and Vegito would then turn their sights forward, and in front would be the lone and last warrior of Poseidon's team, Doomslayer. But with his sword defiantly held up, though not saying a word, the Doomslayer would still be battle ready. The only issue being, in front of him was not just OMNI Vegito now, but Goten and Jiren the Grey also. A full Castiel team versus the last member of Poseidon. The result was already clear. So, Mr. Doomslayer, cool name. But seems you're one popular guy today. Tell me, which one of us do you want to be beaten by? Your choice. But despite all odds, still, Doomslayer would lift his blade up high, ready for battle regardless. And in response, not underestimating him, Jiren, Vegito and Goten would all get into fighting stance, with the Omni King himself reminding them, stay away from that sword! That's the only danger here. That thing could cut through even me, so stay on guard! But curiously, just as soon as the Doomslayer would swing his blade upwards, just as quickly, he would then slam it straight into the ground, stabbing the floor of the stadium like he had a bone to pick with it. Next, letting go of the handle even, and then unbelievably, turning his back to his foes, he would begin walking forward, waving a hand in the air saying, I quit. This is a waste of time. Waste of time? As in a comedic scene, Vegito, Goten and Jiren would be left absolutely dumbfounded, their faces not quite able to believe one of the strongest fighters in the Omniverse would give up like this, right at the climax of their round. But letting off a big sigh, it would seem the result wouldn't be too surprising to Poseidon, who seemingly, having accepted defeat, would let out, I don't blame him one bit.
The round was lost the minute Akuma was made to look like a scared child. Why injure yourself when the battle has already been lost? Good job, Doomslayer.
Round 1 is complete. The winner is Elder God Castiel.
As just like that, slamming his hand down hard onto the balcony fringe, like he were a judge, Zeus would announce the end of round 1. Could the result have been anything else? I never doubted it for a second. Of course, leaving Elder God Castiel smugly smiling, the first god to progress and the first to showcase just how strong they were. But back on the battlefield, even though the round was over, the aftermath of defeat would begin to subside for one warrior.
Damn it!
As Kratos would soon get up from his unconscious state on the ground to stand up on his own 2 feet, just about. Looking around, the god of war could only then mutter,
"All that training, for what? Pointless. Poseidon never told us what these other elder gods would bring. The monsters they would bring. One hit is all it took from that OMNI Vegito."
But as Kratos would stew in his bitterness, from behind, Doomslayer would carry the unconscious bodies of both Akuma and Asura.
Doomslayer, you were the only one to still stand. Impressive. I guess more fights remain for us all. But right now, we need to focus on healing as soon as we can. All listen now!
But before Kratos could even step off the stage, Zeus would begin talking again, continuing in his deep voice.
A very good first round that was indeed. But the show must go on. All fighters must be ready at all times. And now, the second round has been decided. Round 2, Stage 1, Elder God Zeus versus Elder God Poseidon.
What? Again? This cannot be! They just fought! They'll be slaughtered as they are! Only 2 of them can even stand! And of course, on this shockingly unfair revelation, Poseidon would freak out, knowing his warriors were in no condition to carry on even if he wanted to.
You cannot be serious! Why would he do this?
And even more stunned would be Kratos and Doomslayer, frozen in place, not able to believe there is.
Zeus! How could you? I'll kill you! As I said earlier, this is not personal. These selections are chosen at random. If it were up to me, I would save my fighters for the end, not the second round. However, this is how the cards were dealt, and all fighters must assemble now. That includes you too.
As just as Zeus would be about to finish his sentence, a mysterious new foot would step onto the stage.
Ardos!
As finally, the second fighter of Zeus would be revealed, stepping onto the stage with pure aura and confidence, a quiet strut, with his eyes glowing mildly, and for some reason, he would be all alone, and not part of at least the three, simply saying, finally, Akuma and Castiel, you can watch me, the brother you forgot all about. But back with Kratos, more drama would be occurring, as he would notice that suddenly Akuma and Asura's lifeless bodies would begin being surrounded in a mysterious golden energy.
Water!
And before long, miraculously both warriors would regain consciousness. We're healed! As now, back on their feet to the surprise of Doomslayer and Kratos, Akuma and Asura would be back to full health and energy like nothing had even happened. But when the screen would zoom out again, a strange figure would be pointing towards a television screen, watching them live. As Dragon God Piccolo from OMNI Vegito's team would be seen, simply stating, "You're welcome."
Now begin! Round 2 starts here!
And just like before, abruptly, Zeus would bring his hand down again, and with him a yellow bolt of lightning following, crashing directly onto the middle of the stage in between the fighters. And with a cold stare forward, instantly, as fast as lightning, Ardos would react and would begin. Begin and end the round. In one of the most violent introductions and first attacks in Ultra Vegito history, what took a team of 3 an entire chapter, Ardos, the bastard secret brother of 2 archangels, would annihilate all 4 members of Poseidon's team, beheading them in one fell swoop, killing them all before they could even let out a breath. Elder God Poseidon had been eliminated.
What?
Unbelievable! Who is that clown? And just like that, a statement would be made, leaving OMNI Vegito, Dragon God Piccolo, God Killer Goku and Vegeta all utterly speechless. Never could they have expected such a show of power and such vicious, instant bloodshed. Just how strong is Zeus's team? And what the hell can these Z fighters even do to stop them? But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Ardos in the comments down below. And made it this far, leave me a hashtag Ardos in the comments down below. And tell me just how Vegito beats this guy. Or just find out what happens right now.